Hi guys, Mark here. Welcome. We are continuing our journey in the world of globe knots. In this tutorial, we're going to be making a keyfob with the help of a globe knot. For the supplies, we're going to be using a globe knot mandrel, an inch in diameter, with a 3-pin setup. So, a total of 3 columns of pins. So column 1, column 2, column 3. We're next going to need a core for our globe knot, which is going to be a wooden ball an inch in diameter with a center hole drilled in. We're going to need a single piece of Paracord 550, 3 feet long. We're going to need 3 pieces of 95 cord. 2 of these are going to be 6 feet and a half long. The third one is going to be 5 feet long. Finally, we're going to need a lacing needle. Before we tie our globe knot, let's prepare the core for our keyfob. Fold your piece of Paracord 550 in half. Just below the middle point of your cord, tie a knife lanyard knot. Before tightening up, square up your knife lanyard knot. Then pull the slack first through the 2 working ends, then a bit into your loop as well. To tighten up our knot, we're going to pull a bit of slack from our loop, go through our knot, into one of the ends. Repeat on the other side of your loop. Again, go through your knot, into one of the ends. Tighten up, creating our first knife lanyard knot. Feed the 2 ends of your cord through your sphere, so the wooden ball, then tie yet another knife lanyard knot. Again, before tightening up, square up your knot. Pull on the 2 ends, removing a bit of slack out of the knot. Continue by removing the slack here. So the two knife lanyard knots are trapping the core sew our sphere into place. We have a loop at the top and two ends which later on we're going to trim to size. The pin setup for our globe knot mandrel can be seen here. So rows B, C, D, E, F, G are filled out. So in practice, rows B, C, D, E, F, G in all of our columns. Here is the run list for our globe knot. Follow it line by line or tie with me step by step. Let's tie our globe knot. Grab your first cord. This one is 6.5 feet long. Attach a lacing needle onto one end. Grab the other end. Pass it through the hole in your mandrel. Then tie an overhand knot, just to secure our cord into place. We begin tying at B1, moving to E3. From E3, we move to C1, from C1 to F3, from F3 to D1, from D1 to G3. From G3, we now move to B2, traveling under, over, under. From B2, we move to E1, traveling over, under, over. From E1, we move to C2, traveling over, under, over. From C2, we move to F1, traveling under, over, under. From F1, we move to D2, going under, over, under. From D2, we move to G1, traveling over, under, over. From G1, we now move to B3, starting over, under, then over, under, over, under. From B3, we move to E2, starting under, then over, under, over, under, over. From E2, we move to C3. Starting under, then over, under, over, under, over. From C3, we move to F2. Starting over, then under, over, under, over, under. From F2, we move to D3. Starting over, then under, over, under, over, under. From D3, we move to G2, under, over, under, over, under, over. We are now at our final pass from G2 all the way back to B1. Starting under, then over, under, over, under, over, under, over, and under. Reaching B1. Place your working hand alongside your standing hand. Work it a bit deeper into the knot. So let's say somewhere up to here. We now grab our second cord. This one is again 6.5 feet long. Attach your lacing needle onto one end, then move away from your first two ends here, somewhere else in the knot, let's say here, and we begin doubling up here. So this is just a random spot away from the first two ends. We pull most of our cord into our knot, leaving just a tail behind. Go through the entire knot, doubling it up. When the two ends of your second cord meet up, we have doubled up our knot. We continue by sinking in all of our screws. So back into the mandrel, so that we can tighten up our knot before transferring it onto our cord. After sinking in all of our screws, we're going to undo the overhand knot from our first cord, and where the two ends of our first cord meet up, we pull the standing end like this, so under a section near our working end. So this is our first cord, this is our second cord. For now, tighten up your knot on the mandrel 1 to 2 times in order to remove some slack out of the knot. This tightening process is going to make the tightening on the core a bit easier. With 2 passes of tightening done on my globe knot, I'm going to slide it off my mandrel and onto the core. Shape it up a bit. Then begin tightening up. So just like on the mandrel, we start at one end, we go through our knot, removing slack into the other end. After 2 passes of tightening, the globe knot already looks quite beautiful. We're going to take our third and last piece of 95 cord. This one is 5 feet long. Attach your lacing needle and work your strand into the knot. So we have 2 ends here, 2 ends here. So I'm going to start away from these pairs, let's say here. This third pass is going to fill out the gaps in your knot, plus tighten it up a little bit. With the knot tripled up, we now trim our ends, as close to the knot as possible. Trim the 2 ends of Paracord 550 as well to the length that you want them to be. Personally, I like to remove a bit of the inner strands as well. Melt the ends a little bit. Then press on the knot to even it out a little bit. If you want, you can also melt the ends of 95 cord, but here you need to be a lot more careful. So guys, that's it. The globe knot key fob. I would like to sincerely thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you in my future videos as well.